Good morning to all students. Today I will discuss with you the first topic of your concern syllabus belongs to gymnosperm. In gymnosperm, if you see the syllabus, there are some fossil plant and living plant including in your syllabus. Today I will discuss you a very important fossil genus which mentioned in your syllabus, that is Lyginopteris oldhamia. It was well studied by Taylor and Millay in 1981. There are some co-workers who worked on Lyginopteris, that is Stewart, 1983. The genus Lyginopteris is the fossil genera of the gymnosperm group. It is known as seed fern. It is also known as seed fern because mostly character of the family Lyginopteris, in which Lyginopteris is concerned, the diagnostic feature of this family Lyginopteridaceae is very resemble with the pteridophyte. So Lyginopteris is a primitive gymnosperm fossil plants. So before study the Lyginopteris, we have to know about the diagnostic features of family Lyginopteridaceae, which come under order Pteridospermales. This family Lyginopteridaceae is very close to pteridophyte, so it come under the order Pteridospermales. That is the reason behind it. You may say that the Lyginopteris oldhamia is the primitive gymnosperm plants. Because of the order Pteridospermales, which is also known as the seed fern, is a special type of gymnosperm plants which have fern-like foliose leaves, and unprotected seed were developed on the foliose leaves of the Lyginopteris. That is the reason behind it. Lyginopteris is also known as primitive gymnosperm fossil plants. Before study the external morphology and other part of the Lyginopteris, we have to know the diagnostic features of family Lyginopteridaceae, in which Lyginopteris is come. As you know very well that a very famous paleobotanist, that is Taylor and Millay, Taylor and Millay 1981 and Stewart 1983, mention some important diagnostic features which is resemble with the family Lyginopteridaceae. The first diagnostic features of Lyginopteris is the member of this family have been reported from both the upper and the lower Carboniferous period of Paleozoic era. As you know very well that the Paleozoic era is the age of the pteridophyte. So, but the Lygenopteris is a gymnosperm plant. So, the plant of Lygenopteris oldhamia also reported along with the pteridophyte plant, mostly upper and lower Carboniferous period of a Paleozoic era. So, it is known as primitive gymnosperm plant. Mostly the characters of this fossil genus of gymnosperm belongs to pteridophyte. But in case of Lygenopteris oldhamia, unprotected naked seed develop directly on leaves, which is the strong diagnostic features which is very close to gymnosperm. Second one is the plant were not very large and attained a maximum height of 2 meter. You may say that the plant is a medium size in height. It may be up to 2 meter. Next one is several plants were vine-like in their general habitat. There are irregular habitat have been reported by gymnologists. Next one is they had axillary branching fronds with bifurcate rachis. If you see the plants before the explaining diagnostic features of this plant, you have to see the external morphology of Lygenopteris. It is a very famous, well reported fossil plant of gymnosperm. This is the Lygenopteris with microsporangium. There are important plant organ which have been reported by paleobotanists. This is the elastocovule. If you see the external morphology of the plant, it is reported by gymnologists that the plant is not a regular pattern, not having a regular pattern. It is a irregular pattern. They had axillary fronds. Fronds, it means branching. They have axillary branching. Next one is the leaves were highly dissecting and produce along with stem and widely separated intervals. So leaves are so large, they are the leaves of the Lygenopteris is very similar to pteridophyte. It is very similar to foliose leaves. Next, the frond usually had a bifurcate rachis. Frond, it means irregular pattern of the stem, usually had a bifurcate rachis. What is rachis? You know very well. Both sides of the rachis there is a developed pinna. There is a developed pinnately compound leaf, है ना, rachis. Next one, petiole. You know very well petiole. It is a part of the leaves which attach directly with the stem. The leaves which having the proper petiole known as petiolate leaves, and which leaf without petiole is known as sessile leaves. Petiole had V or W shaped trace formed as a result of fusion of several smaller trace. So you have observed that the petiole has W shaped trace. A large amount of secondary xylem was present in the stem. So you may say that the stem is woody in nature because there is a large amount of secondary growth produced after the secondary growth due to the activity of the vascular cambium. Next one, due to the monostelic stem, there is a single ring of the stele It was always difficult for the stem to support the weight of their large fronds, and therefore the plant must have had a struggling growth habit. The stem, you may say that the stem is not support the properly support the large fronds which develop axillary in position. Next one, longitudinally bands of sclerenchyma were present in the outer cortex. So the outer cortex of the stem made of, if you cut the TS of the stem, you may say that the outer portion of the cortex made of sclerenchymatous tissue which provide the mechanical support to the stem. Often one or two massive traces were seen into the leaves. There is it has been reported by paleobotanists that one or two massive traces were seen in the leaves. The cupules were small. Cupules are the female reproductive organ, were small and uniovulate, it having single ovule in some, and in some it has been reported sometime it is large and having multi-ovulate in other member. Sometimes the copule, which is a female reproductive organ, having many ovule. Next, the integument of the ovule was simple and relatively thin. ओव्यूल का इंट्रूगमेंट बहुत सिंपल होता है और थिन होता है. नेक्स्ट वन, द न्यूक्लियस, इट इज ए फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव ऑर्गन of the gymnosperm plant. The nucleus in which the megaspore is developed. Any cells of the nucleus directly behave as megaspore mother cell, which undergo the reduction division and produce 4 megaspore mother cell. Out of 4 megaspore mother cell, 1 become functional and produce archegonia. The nucleus was fused with the integument of the ovule. Next, a structurally complex pollen chamber or pollen receiving device was present. Many members solved a mechanical method of sealing the pollen chamber. Paleobotanists reported that the Lygenopteris having a well developed pollen chamber in which a large number of pollen grain are collected for germination. Only the integument of the seed had a vascular supply. So vascular supply always take place through integument. The apex of the nucleus elaborated into a legistome. Legistome represent the seed. Pollen producing organ were small, laminar or terminal in position, and present in cluster on the branches of fronds. Fronds, it means axillary branching. Next one is symmetry of synangia. Synangia is a special type of spore producing organ, and you may say that it has been reported in the xylotum. Synangia or pollen producing organ was radial to bilateral. Next one, pollen grain had a structurally homogeneous exine. Exine made of a same chemical structure. They were small and trilate type. Pollen grain small होता है और trilate type होता है. There are various type of pollen grain have been reported. I will teach you in MSc second sem during the embryology in detail. Now I will discuss with you the plant of your syllabus, which is fossil gymnosperm, and studied by various paleobotanists such as Taylor, Millay and Stewart very well. That is Lygenopteris odhamia. Lygenopteris odhamia. It is also known as Clematotheca hoenengusai. Lygenopteris is come under the family Lygenopteridaceae, which come under the order Pteridospermales. It is a very primitive gymnosperm fossil plants and it has been well studied by the paleobotanist. We are talking first of all about the nomenclature. Lygonopteris oldhamia, which is also known as Clematotheca honengusai, is one of the best known of Carboniferous fossil plant of order Pteridospermes, because it occurred in a Carboniferous period during the Paleozoic era along with the member of the Pteridophyte. So it is known as primitive fossil gymnosperm plant. That is the reason behind it. It occurred in abundance in a coal ball origin. It occur in the form of fossil in the form of coal ball origin of Lancashire and Yorkshire. For several decades, the root, stem, leaves, and the seed of this plant were independently known to the botanist, but it was not realized that these all were the part of a single plant. As you know very well that fossil plant is not found in complete form. Fossil plant form found always in a different part. So it is debated subject for Lygonopteris that the occurred part, that is the root, stem, leaves and seed of this plant, were independently known to the botanist, but was not realized that these all were the part of a single plant. So it is very debated subject that these part is related to a single plant. Various parts were discovered and named under as. This is also known as concept of genus form. So if the leaves of this plant is also known as Sphenopteris honengusai. The leaves of this plant known as Sphenopteris honengusai by the paleobotanist. Stem come under the Lygonopteris oldhamia. So the major part which is well studied by paleobotanist was stem. So it is a major part of this plant. On the basis of the major and dominant part of this fossil gymnosperm plant, the stem represents the Lygonopteris oldhamia. The petiole of this plant is come under the name Rhachiopteris aspera, and the root of this plant is come under the name of Caloxylon hookeri, and the seed of this plant, which discovered by the paleobotanist, come under the Laginostoma lomaxi. So on the basis of the occurred part of the plant, the name of the plant given on the basis of the occurred part. The leaves known as Sphenopteris honengusai, stem is known as Lygonopteris oldhamia, petiole known as Rhachiopteris aspera, a root is known as Caloxylon hookeri, and seed is known as Laginostoma lomaxi. Jochman, another paleobotanist who is also worked on Lygonopteris in 1929, reported the presence of capitate glands on the cucullate envelope enclosing the seeds. It is a character features of the Lygonopteris oldhamia, the presence of capitate glands on the cucullate envelope enclosing the seed. Cucullate is a female part of the plants. Similar type of gland were reported on the stem, leaves and also on rachis, and this become the basis of the fact that all these structures described under the different name belongs to one and the same plant, that is Lygonopteris oldhamia. So on the basis of the presence of capitate like glands on all the founded parts of the plant, you may say that all these parts like leaves, stem and petiole, root and seed also having a very similar capitate glands. So on the basis of presence of capitate glands on all the fragments of the plants on the part of the plant, you may say that all these part belongs to the same plant, that is Lyginopteris odhamia. So Jokman studied well and come to conclusion that the all occurred part of the plant belongs to a same plant, Lyginopteris odhamia. So presence of capitate glands is a parameter for identification of the different part of the plants, belongs to the same plant. If you are talking about the external features, the plant were probably climbers. The stem was long and aerial, varies from 2 mm to 4 centimeter in diameter. Branching in the stem has been reported in few cases, and Walton, another gymnologist who worked on Lyginopteris, reported axillary branching, at least in one case. The weak stem had advantageous root, probably proproot like banyan tree, and proproot also reported in ficus. The leaves were many and spirally arranged around the rachis. Characteristic spine, perhaps helpful in climbing, were present on both stem as well as leaves. So presence of spine is another diagnostic features of this primitive fossil gymnosperm plant. The leaves were bipinnate to tripinnate. The pinna had pinnules or leaflets and were present at right angle to the rachis, and the rachis and the petiole were fixed to or attached with capitate glands. So presence of capitate gland is the identification point of this plant. On all the part of the plants there is a presence capitate glands. If you are talking about the reproductive organ of this plant, you know very well about the fossil plant. We don't have a more knowledge. We have a very sufficient knowledge about the fossil plant. We don't know about how the Anthridium is developed, how the Archegonium is developed, how the fertilization is take place, how the embryogen is take place. Lyginopteris odhamia was heterosporous, which belongs to gymnosperm character, heterosporous, and its ovule and seed were enclosed within a well protective cupules. So seed are protected by cupules. Kirstens, another paleobotanist, 1905, discovered the impression of Chrosotheca in connection with the leaves of Spanopteris honengosae. Thus, it was concluding that Chrosotheca is the microsporangium of Lyginopteris. What is the name of the microsporangium? Chrosotheca. Because the leaves of the Lyginopteris were described under the name Spanopteris honengosae. The ovule and seed of Lyginopteris were described under the name Lyginostoma lomaxi. I have discussed already with you. It is a concept of genus form. Arnold, another paleobotanist, in 1947 state that the microsporangiate structure of Lyginopteris belongs to Telingium. Some other worker has also shown doubt on the validity of Chrosotheca being the microsporangium of Lyginopteris. Some paleobotanists don't consider that Chrosotheca belongs to microsporangium of Lyginopteris. If you are talking about the microsporangium of Lyginopteris odhamia, Chrosotheca honengosae has been described the name microsporangia bearing member of Lyginopteris. 6 to 7 bilocular pendant microsporangium were present, or more or less pelted fertile pinnules called microsporophyll have been reported by paleobotanist. Each microsporangium was about 3 mm in length and its distance was longitudinal. Microspore were present in the cavity of microsporangium, sometimes even in tetrad. Pollen grain was reported as tetrad. Each microspore had a thick, rough exine and attained a diameter 50 to 70 micron. Chamberlain, a famous gymnologist, 1935, pointed that these pollen grain must have seed in a fashion similar to the Isoetes, Selaginella and other water fern. So the dehiscence of the microsporangium take place such as in other very similar to the Isoetes, Selaginella and other water fern like Azolla and Salvinia. So this is the picture of the microsporangia, which is known as Crossotheca honengussai. It is a branch, and you may say that that a very pendant microsporangia develop in groups. This is the group of microsporangia in which a lot of pollen grain are produced, and the dehiscence of the microsporangia is very similar to the Isoetes, Selaginella and Salvinia and Azolla. So this is the Lygonopteris with microsporangia, a branch of Lygonopteris having microsporangia, which group on peltate disc-like structure in a group. This is the leaves, fern-like leaves, foliose leaves. If you are talking about the seed, Oliver and Scott 1903 described Lygonopteris oldhamia seed as Lyginostoma lomaxi. So according to Oliver and Scott, the seed of Lygonopteris come under the name Lyginostoma lomaxi. Seed was a small barrel shaped structure measuring about 5 to 6 mm in length and about 4 cm in width. Each seed was surrounded by a cupule present at the end of the cylinder Rachis Jogman. Rachis was also covered by glands and hair-like leaves and stem. The seed and the cupule are all known only in petrified condition. Petrified is another form of the fossil. Single vascular bundle of the Rachis divided into 10 vascular strands which transferred laterally into the cupule. So there is a water supply and nutrition supply take place from the Rachis to all the sides. Several glands were present on the outer surface of the lobed copules. You may see the picture of the seed. This is the LS of the ovule. If you see the LS of ovule, you may say that a vascular strand supply to the water and the minerals to the all part of the ovule. You may see in the center there is a female gametophyte, and this is the pollen chamber in which the pollen grain are collected for germination, and there is a presence of glands is the character features of Lygonopteris oldhamia. The cupulate glands are present on all the part of the Lygonopteris oldhamia, such as it is also present on the stem, it is also present on the leaves, it is also present on the ovule. So presence of the glands is the diagnostic and identification point of the Lygonopteris oldhamia. So this is the LS of the ovule of the Lygonopteris oldhamia. If you are talking about the ovule is come under the name Lyginostoma lomaxi was orthotropous, because in all the gymnosperm genera, the ovule are always present in orthotropous condition. The nucleus was free at the tip. In the latter stage of the development, it was surrounded by bell-shaped pollen chamber or legionostoma. The bell-shaped pollen chamber is also known as legionostoma. The ovule was surrounded by bell-shaped pollen chamber or legionostoma. The ovule was surrounded by outer hard stony layer and inner fleshy layer of integument. So integument is unitegmin. It resembled with the cycas seed. So it is considered that the seed of the Lygionopteris oldhamia is very similar to cycas. So you can say that the cycas is also primitive lower gymnosperm plant. The seed of the Lygionopteris oldhamia is very similar to the structure of seed of cycas. Thank you very much.